Yeah, well, the interesting thing about that kind of role of like the daughter that's played by Maika Monroe in the film is that normally in a genre movie that's the least interesting character, and that was the main thing that I wanted to avoid is normally those kind of like straight edge like final girl types are just like really boring and asexual and don't have any fun, and for some reason like a lot of Hollywood screenwriters equate female toughness with just like female joylessness, which to me not only is probably misogynistic in a lot of subtle ways, but also just not compelling or fun, and I don't like those characters because I can't relate to them because they don't seem even remotely like real human beings. So that was really it. I just wanted, I knew it was an important kind of part of the dynamic that she be the smartest character in the film in a lot of ways. Like it was part of the humor that she like kind of right away is acknowledging the ridiculousness of the circumstances while everyone else is kind of oblivious to it for various reasons. But I also knew that the character had to be fun and funny because you couldn't just have this like character like snarkily kind of like commenting on everything, which a lot of thrillers do. So it was just more about trying to write her in a way that was very likable, and then finding an actress who got that sense of humor and could kind of play sarcasm in a compelling, funny way where you'd relate to her rather than be alienated from her. Because a lot of actresses, when they do, and Adam and I have talked about this a lot, but a lot of actresses tend to play sarcastic dialogue dramatically rather than comedically, which is just a very unlikable choice.
Yeah, and in the casting process, it was one of those things where a lot of the actors that came in to read for that role, I felt like they were more or less pandering to what they thought our expectations were. And they weren't bringing their own personality or their own take to the character. And that's not interesting to me at all. But Maika, it seemed like she just had her own complete take on it, and she just came in there and was like, this is the way I'm going to read it. And that's what we responded to, because she did something that was unexpected to us. And she made us laugh, without like trying to make us laugh. She just had this kind of like, monotone sort of sarcasm that she had just plugged into, and I just found it instantly endearing. And so she, and that was the part we actually met with the most actors for. We looked at all kinds, and the only reason we didn't even like initially just like settle on her right away was because she was so different than the way that the character actually read on the page. Like even just the fact that she's like, comes from this kind of kiteboarding surfer background. She has that kind of already look to her with her blonde hair and everything. That wasn't the way the character was. I think the character was written in a more kind of earthy, sort of tomboyish kind of way. But because we liked her take on it so much, we kind of, adapted that to it. And ultimately, once we saw everybody, we realized, like, let's just cast personality-wise. Let's not worry about the aesthetic. I mean, and I think that's always the way to go. Start with who's the most interesting, and then let the rest of it kind of figure itself out.
Well, it's just like Dan. He people didn't think he might seem like a not obvious choice for the role of David in the film, but he captured that character's likability and energy in a really good way. And then everything else, you can tweak. Maika captured the energy of and kind of like fun of Anna, even though she was, she was this like athletic California blonde, and the character is like supposed to be this kind of like, goth, like kind of angry girl. But she had that, like, she had the right kind of spirit. And I think when we first met with Maika, she actually wasn't even sure if she wanted to be an actress, because she was having a very successful career doing professional kiteboarding. And I think that's why she totally nailed her audition, is because she just was like, I don't care if I get this part, because I don't even know if I want to do this. She's like 19 at the time. She's like, I think I might just want to be like a kiteboarder. And we're like, do go on. like you're doing really good. Talk more about how you don't want to get this part. But yeah, I mean, look, I mean, I think Adam and I, just try to always write our characters like real people, male or female, young or old, and then you cast someone who just like gets it.